I'm in the moment. I'm not there yet. I'm living intentionally in the moment. Welcome back to another podcast of Fishing Without Bait, a mindfulness-based podcast where we help people explode into their lives through full impact mindfulness. We're looking for people to want to create their lives rather than find it. And the only admission fee is the honesty, open-mindedness, and willingness to try. If you have a few particles of those, you're on your way. So, my name is Jim Ellermeyer, and I'm a behavioral health therapist. Today I'm joined by my good friend, co-host, and producer of this program, Mr. Mike.
Good to be here again, Jim, for another mindful conversation.
Yes. So when we go through a day, how many times do we have to feel that we overshare, or that we have to tell people our plans, or some words that we can just get through the day and bypass all of these superficial conversations that add up to nothing?
Okay. I'm definitely accused of oversharing and have a few people where I say, are you available for X? And they tell me every reason why they're not.
Well, generally when we're asked to do something, okay, either we say yes, or we say, well, maybe, or we give a extended reason why we are unable to do that in this moment.
This is something where I do find myself saying, yeah, I can't do that because I got blah, 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 blah going on. If we can do this. And I like go back and say, no, they don't need to know the background of why this is the situation. And also we've had the conversations where I've been told, don't do that because, then you feel like you're coming off as more important than the client's time. You know, like that's some of the symptoms that we've had on our side.
Most people don't want to listen to these long-winded explanations. They either want a yes or a no.
They just want an answer.
So my suggestion to people out there, when you're asked to do something and you don't have the time, energy, or bandwidth to do it, or maybe you just don't want to, the simple phrase is, I can't do that. And if you're pressed, you can just say, I can't do that. And you just keep repeating that. And when people ask you what your plans are, what are you going to do next week? What are you going to do about this podcast? What are you going to do about your life? What are you going to do about your car? You can just, a standard phrase that I use is, I'm not there yet. So what people are asking you to do is time travel into the future and extrapolate what you're going to be doing.
Yeah, I have found friends and family members, pontificating about something a month out, 2 months out, 3 months out, something like that. And we're just like, there's a lot between now and then. I cannot talk to you about this. This is not, I don't know where I'm going to be mentally when we get to that point. I don't know where I'm going to be at energy level when we get to that point. And that's a factor for a lot of things. And on top of anything else that could be going on around that.
Well, here we're talking again about mindfulness, about staying in the moment, about paying attention on purpose, by telling people, I'm not there yet. What do you think is going to happen to, when are you going to finish that book? What are you going to do next week? Have you thought about going on vacation? I'm not there yet. I'm in the moment. I'm not there yet. I'm living intentionally in the moment. I'm not there yet. Oh, hi, Jim Ellermeyer back again from Fishing Without Bait. And as we offer and express transparency, this is a shameless plug for a book that we are selling. This is a 365-day calendar where we have a Zen type of picture to draw with a caption, and then we ask some thoughtful questions that people can answer, such as, what are your general thoughts about the quote? What is the morning thought in the morning? What is your evening thought? And what will you do tomorrow to spread kindness? Okay? And the beauty of this is that it's not numbered. You can pick any page out. It's not numbered. You can pick any day out and pick any quote out you want, or not. So what we're doing, we're asking people to use this as some type of a mindfulness activity to start their day. When we start our day, not trying to race through the day or with anxiety, but rather maybe some introspective self-talk, some internal validation. And what we're doing here is this. Also, what we'd like to do, we're going to be offering some Patreon material, maybe some behind the themes things, or some of the podcasts that we've done where we take a deeper dive. And we'd like to get your thoughts on that. What would you like to see? Are there any podcasts that we've done where you would like us to do a deeper dive? So you can please contact the show, and we'd be glad to explore that. And as always, we're looking for stories of recovery. Everybody's in recovery from something. We like to know how you got here from there. And please be good to yourself. And yes, this is a shameless plug.
I'm worried about this week. I'm worried about today. That's what I need to get through right now.
How about people who give you left-handed compliments? Maybe they are giving you some type of innuendo. Maybe you're trying to decode what they're saying to you.
How do you mean by that, Jim?
Well, when they ask you something about, hey, do you think you ought to do something about that cough? Hey, do you think that you might want to get your car fixed? Hey, do you think that you might want to lose weight? Hey, do you think that you might want to be nicer to people? Hey, do you think you might want to quit drinking? Hey, do you think that you need to go to the gym?
Mm-hmm. Kind of alluding to things. Okay.
Yes, and that can be very off-putting.
No, absolutely.
People can get very upset about that.
Mm-hmm.
So my standard answer is to look at someone and say, thank you for your concern.
Mm-hmm.
And that ends it. Thank you for your concern. Mike, what are you going to do? Are you going to get another hat sometime? Well, thank you for your concern. Thank you for thinking about me.
Thank you for thinking about my hat.
Thank you for thinking about me. Or I'll take that into consideration.
Mm-hmm.
Or perhaps, however, right now I'm going to go in another direction. And you don't need to tell anyone your plans. So remember, there's 8 billion people on the planet. Not all of them are going to be glad for your success. There's many people out there who are going to wish you fail. We talk about that German word, Schadenfreude, taking delight in the discomfort of others. It's like, what a true friend would be is if you could even play a harmless trick on your friends and tell them that you bought a lottery ticket and won $5,000 and see the expressions on their face.
Mm-hmm.
Now, most of them will say, oh boy, I'm so glad that happened to you. Well, they're muttering under their breath about why they didn't win. Mm-hmm. But a true friend will say to you, Mike, initially, there's a bit of jealousy about this. I'm envious that you won that money. However, overall, I'm excited and I'm happy that you got that experience, that you got something good happening in your life. That's a friend.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Thanking people for their concern, or one of the things that generally can put people off, and you can avoid answering questions about your intentions, goals, plans, is when are you going to open that building? Not today. This happens frequently. I often suggest this phrase to use people in the 12-step world when somebody asks, would you like to have a drink? Not today. When was the last time you used drugs? Not today. Mm-hmm. So if we keep things in the moment, not today is a very good thing. When are you going to get some new tattoos? Not today. Mm-hmm. When are you going to get a new car? Not today. So that prevents people from nebbing, gossiping about you. When some things that you might want to use that phrase with? Not today.
I can see some people, some of the younger people out there are saying, when are you going to get married? When are you going to settle down? When are you going to have kids? Not today. Like I see, that's one place I can see that popping up for sure.
I often suggest that to uh, some of my patients. They get married, and what's the immediate question that they get?
When the kid's happening?
When am I going to hear the patter of little feet?
Mm-hmm.
And my standard answer to folks is to reply, not today.
Mm-hmm.
Not today. When are you going to lose weight? Not today.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So I think that that's a perfect phrase. In fact, I think we ought to maybe write a little pamphlet on the phrase and then title the book called Not Today.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. So when are things going to get better? Not today. When are you going to work on that next book? Not today. If you keep things in a moment, how do you think people would respond to that, Mike?
I think it pulls them back a little bit. I do worry it would come off slightly rude, right? You know, at least to certain people it may.
Okay.
You know, like you didn't give them an answer, you know.
Okay.
Yeah. But I think it's still an appropriate, you know, kind of response.
How about when somebody said, well, what do you think about the new taxes? What do you think about all the all the construction work that's going on in Pittsburgh?
Mm-hmm.
You just say, it's out of my control.
Yeah, kind of a not my purview. I'm not a city planner. And I you know what, this actually happens because we do have a lot of construction, and there's either construction or tree trimming or utilities or yard street work. Like it seems like within 3 blocks of my house. And you know, the one-way streets and the dead ends in in my area, where I'm also always like, okay, how am I getting out of my house today? And there's a lot of complaining and kind of frustration about that. But I always look at it and says, we talked about like, hey, everybody complains about what's not getting fixed in this city. Well, look at everything that's getting worked on in my neighborhood. You know what I mean? It's very anecdotal when we talk about those things, especially when we get to the political season and all that kind of stuff. So again, I kind of look at it as like, isn't that great? They're working on things in our neighborhood and making it look better and making the roads better and making sure our gas and our pipes aren't leaking, you know?
I was talking to somebody on the way here, and that's a timely topic for the moment. There could be the possibility of being a government shutdown.
Mm-hmm.
And this particular person works with NOAA. And
The weather
yes,
agency. Yeah.
yes. So people were asking her if she was worried or if she was anxious about the upcoming government shutdown. And I suggested to her that her reply would be, would it help?
Mm-hmm.
Are you worried? Would that help?
No, why worry? Know that might be coming and be prepared for what that means for you personally, but as an employee of the government. But no, it wouldn't help anything otherwise.
Would that help? That's an excellent. So what you're doing is kind of like Socratic questioning.
Mm-hmm.
You're turning it back to them,
Interesting.
having them ask that question.
Yeah.
Would it help?
Yeah.
So I always use this phrase. There was a person who was going to be executed at 6 o'clock in the morning, and the person in the cell next to them said, are you worried? And the person said, would it help? Mm-hmm. So being in the moment. And one of the last phrases that we're going to talk about today, when somebody says something mean or nasty or nebby or gossipy, one thing you might want to ask them is that necessary? Was that necessary? Can you think of anything in your life that could help with, is that necessary?
I can think of a few actions people have taken in certain live situations. Yes.
You're asking people to step back and take a look at things and use some critical thinking skills and make some wise mind choices.
Yeah.
When they throw something on the ground, when they litter, when they kick something, when they intentionally slur somebody or curse or use profanity, you might want to ask them, was that necessary? Was that necessary? So there's some phrases, Mike. And if anyone has anything that they'd like to add that works in their life, we'd be glad to hear about it. At the end of every podcast, we offer a free prescription, fruits, nuts, and vegetables. Unplug your television and take up fishing. And for a truly mindful experience, we suggest that you fish without bait. Do a kindness for yourself and do a kindness for another. Forgive yourself and forgive another. If we're all not the divine's children, then none of us are. Human rights are human rights. Who are we to decide? Who are we to decide who's right and who's wrong? My friends, please stop the slaughter in Gaza. Namaste, my friends. Until we meet again.
Please check out our website at fishingwithoutbait.com, where you can listen to the show, comment on our discussions, and find out where you can subscribe to our podcast.
If you're interested in flying the colors of Fishing Without Bait, click the shop icon on our website. We have clothing, mugs, cell phone cases, and so much more. Show the world that you fish without bait.
This show is a member of the Sorgatron Media Podcast Network. Find out more at sorgatronmedia.com.